If you're following Depp vs. Heard, you might know Amber's got a sister named Whitney Henriquez, but I call her Whitney Heard because I think she uses the name Henriquez just to separate herself from the Heard family and things like that. She is essentially a Heard and Amber's sister, so that's what I'll call her. Plus, Heard's easier to say than Henriquez moving forward. This is from People. It's called Amber Heard's Sister Breaks Silence After Johnny Depp Verdict. Cards were stacked against us. Of course, she's got the same old excuses Amber's got. It wasn't evidence. It wasn't because, Johnny is the victim, not the abuser. It's because cards were stacked against them. I will never give up on you, and neither will anyone who stands with you, said Amber Heard's younger sister, Whitney Heard. By the way, this is from June 6, 2022. Let's see what we got. Amber Heard's sister, Whitney Heard, is breaking her silence after the jury sided mostly with Johnny Depp in his defamation trial against his ex-wife. Last Wednesday, the 7-person jury handed down their verdict, which awarded Depp $10.3 million in damages, finding that Heard, 36, defamed her ex-husband in her 2018 Washington Post op-ed about domestic abuse in which she did not name him. And by Virginia law, you don't actually have to name the person because not everybody is going to name the person. They could allude and imply to that person where everyone knows what the person's talking about and take less risk, and the law makes sense. Let's keep going. Heard, meanwhile, was awarded $2 million in her defamation countersuit. She plans to appeal the verdict, her attorney revealed the following morning. The actress's younger sister, who testified on her behalf during the trial and was present in the courtroom when the verdict was read, showed support for the actress on Instagram Sunday. Here we go. I stand with you, sissy. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I will always be proud of you for standing up for yourself, for testifying both here in Virginia and the UK, and for being the voice of so many who can't speak to the things that happen behind closed doors, wrote Heard 34. Of course, they always go back to this, it happened behind closed doors. You know what else was behind closed doors? Tape recorders. That's how we know what happened and what Amber said. So you could close the door 1,000 times. It only takes once to press record and find out what happened. We knew that this was going to be an uphill battle and that the cards were stacked up against us. You mean the evidence was stacked up against you? She continued. But you stood up and spoke out regardless. I am so honored to testify for you, and I would do it 1,000,000 times over because I know what I saw and because the truth is forever on your side. What's with that look on her face, by the way? This was going out of the courtroom. She kind of looks like, if you've ever seen The Ring, it's that movie where the ghost or monster or whatever comes out of the TV and, grabs a person or whatever. Just my personal opinion, just saying. That's what she looks like there. Heard continued, I'm so sorry that it wasn't reflected in the decision made by this jury, but I will never give up on you, and neither will anyone who stands with you. Forever by your side, I stand with Amber Heard. Well, I know who stands on her side that might give up, namely Warner Brothers. I mean, I heard they cut her part down to a little pea there, a little ant-sized little clip in Aquaman 2. They probably want to get rid of her, but for whatever reason, she's still there. Will she be going forward with Warner Brothers? Probably not. A lot of Hollywood stars, I heard, want to come out on Johnny's side, and honestly, that's just common sense, but they can't because they're scared. So I gotta say, false on the fact that anyone who stands with her will continue to forever. And then they get into Amber's statement that she put out on Instagram. I'm not going to read the whole thing. A, it makes people nauseous, and B, we don't really need to hear the whole thing right now because I'm sure you've heard it before, but a few pointers. She said it was a setback to women, of course, which it isn't. She said it was the power and influence of her husband. If you mean power and influence by evidence, once again, you'd be right. If you mean just power and influence without evidence, well, no, that's wrong. And they feature this picture here. Whitney always looks disturbed and angry and disgruntled. She's always looking at something like she hates it. That's just my personal opinion by looking at some photos they put out of her. And then they print Amber's full post on Instagram, and they also get into the fact that she said it was an attack on her freedom of speech, which it's not. We got to go over this over and over and over. It's not an attack on freedom of speech. You're allowed to say whatever you want. It's just that those things have consequences, and the consequences were bad. So you're going to blame freedom of speech. On the witness stand earlier in the court case, Heard testified and was questioned about a March 2015 incident when she claimed Depp allegedly hit her and Heard on a staircase at their penthouse. She said her then brother in law struck her in the back, then proceeded to repeatedly hit Heard. Heard testified about the incident as well, saying she punched Depp to defend her sister. He denied that version of events. Heard said she got along with Depp at first before witnessing the tumultuous relationship living with them at one point. Depp, during his time on the stand, recalled liking sweet kid Heard when they met, but claimed she often got the dirty end of the stick and would be a punching bag for Amber, which I think would make sense based on Amber's history. And also, she's a younger sister. That thing just kind of happens naturally with older and younger, but just saying, that makes sense. Whitney was trying to please her sister, trying to be up to snuff, and it just seemed like she got shot down every time he said of the sisters' up and down relationship. Sounds familiar. Sounds like the way Amber actually treats people. So, once again, I've got to believe it. I mean, if it makes sense, I tend to believe things. I will say this, they did actually print Johnny's statement, so they are playing the middle a little bit, but people really leans towards Amber's side. So they're not to be trusted, but I usually cover those that aren't to be trusted and are negative because the positive ones are just things we know. You could also say preaching to the choir to a certain extent. So it's a bit more productive to focus on the negative and call those out. Let me know what you guys think down below. Doing pop culture, celebrity news, stuff like that. If you subscribe here, you'll get videos, some rants, whatever comes up. And if you don't subscribe, I guess it'll be sad, but I'll get over it, make a new video, something like that. Done here for now. See you next time.